Your alarm goes off, you wake up, and immediately your body is craving comfort. And on its behalf, your brain will then start negotiating those extra 5 or 10 minutes that it wants. Our body naturally resists the idea of doing difficult things. The bigger the task looks, the more emotional resistance that is created to fight against the idea of doing it. And this is part of a evolutionary mechanism which is designed to protect ourselves, from discomfort, from pain and hardship, because your mind then starts building the case which supports the body's idea that let's just not seek out discomfort, let's stay comfortable. Now, with some insane timelessness, Seneca said nearly 2,000 years ago that the body must be treated rigorously, that it may not be disobedient to the mind. Your mind knows what's good for you. It knows what you should do. It knows that you should get up earlier, you should go on that run, you should go to the gym, but our body is like, nah, I'm not having any of it. I don't want to do any of that. It'll say sleep in, skip the run, skip going to the gym, because our body naturally pulls towards comfort. And if you let your body win on those occasions repeatedly, then your body starts setting the terms as to what you can do and accomplish. So don't let comfort win. Push the body and the mind will follow. In my opinion, the best way to strengthen your mind is to push your body physically, to push yourself through the emotional and physical resistance to the point where your standards and your identity are completely elevated and transformed. This is Hercules Nicolaou. He's an endurance athlete who recently ran the entire length of Greece. Just let that sink in for a second, the entire length of a country. That is 1,200 kilometers, ran in 14 days no less, not to mention the heat, the incline, the decline, and also being chased by stray dogs. Just an insane and, to me, incomprehensible feat of human endurance and physical achievement. And yet he completed it. Despite all the mental and physical obstacles that were placed in his way, he still completed it. And at the end of this challenge in the video, he took the opportunity to reflect on what this challenge meant to him. And he kind of saw it as this journey of self-discovery, that through enduring such physical hardship, he came out the other end and kind of unlocked a new level, like a level of unstoppability, and that he could take on effectively anything and do and complete anything now. Now, I can't claim that I've ran the entire length of a country, nor can I claim that I've even ran an ultramarathon yet. However, that message really stuck out to me and deeply resonated with me. In the past, I was always somebody who talked the talk but didn't quite walk the walk. My mind knew what I should do, it knew what I wanted to do, but my body rarely shared that enthusiasm. And sure, in certain contexts, especially my work and my studies, I always had that discipline. I'd always work my hardest and get things done. But in terms of my physical development, I cut corners, I compromised, I just straight up gave up and didn't bother. Sometimes I'd make a half-hearted excuse that I'm too tired, I'm too busy, I can't possibly go to the gym right now. Other times I didn't even bother to do that. I was just too lazy to even make an excuse about why I couldn't go to the gym or train. Running for me is the interesting case study, because in terms of that, I straight up just did not want to do it, because to me it seemed way too hard. The idea of my lungs burning, panting for breath, my legs being absolutely shattered, all of that, I was like, why would I possibly enjoy that? Why would I put myself through that? So I just didn't even do it. I didn't even bother because it just seemed too hard. So I lacked the discipline, the intent, the drive. My mind was effectively a slave to my body. And looking back now, it pains me to think how much I left on the table during those years because I prioritized comfort. From that, you can tell that I needed some change in my life. And I got that. In the summer of 2025, I don't know how this actually came about, but me and a few of my mates decided we'd do something called the Lycwake Walk. It's a 40-mile or 64-kilometer, depending on what metric you use, challenge hike across the Yorkshire Moors. There's 5,000 feet of total elevation, and the idea is that you complete it all in 24 hours time. Now, based on what I said before, I'd never done any of this before. I was never really one to push myself physically, so this to me was like, wow, incomprehensible. How am I even going to do that? At the time I agreed to do this challenge with my mates, I was thinking, you've said you're going to do so many things. You say you're going to go to the gym more, you were going to start running, you're going to take up a sport, and you never did any of that. So to me, I was like, you're going to do this challenge to prove that you have the minerals and you have what it takes to do something that is physically hard and endure some level of physical hardship. So we set off at midnight. We walked through the night, through the day, up and down steep inclines, through rough terrain and dense foliage. And after about 17 hours, we completed it. It was quite the challenge, but we got it done. Funny thing is, before the actual challenge, my mind was so fixated upon, God, my body is going to feel absolutely terrible. And yet, during the actual challenge, I honestly felt pretty good for most of it. Now, I wouldn't put that down to my physical fitness. You know, I had blisters all over my feet, my joints were absolutely cooked, my calves were cramping. The next day, I could barely walk. So it definitely wasn't down to my physical fitness. I'd say the reason why I felt so good during the actual challenge was because I was there. I was in the arena doing something which was hard. I had set out to accomplish something that was difficult, and I was doing it, and I did it. I was finally doing something that was physically hard and not letting my mind become a slave to my body and its need for comfort. Now, I don't want to over exaggerate the impact of a single event on my life, but honestly, it was some kind of epiphany to me. That experience showed me the pleasure of doing hard things and enduring them just through pure grit and determination. And since pushing my body, my mind has regained that control because I'm now consistently and routinely seeking out hard things to push myself and challenge myself with. In terms of the gym, I've never been more consistent. It's frightening how consistent I am now. If I'm too tired, I'll do it anyway. If I haven't got the time, I'll find the time and I'll get them done. My nutrition is on point. That is something that I've always struggled with majorly. I know I was always cheating on my diets, not sticking to my goals, and now I'm so consistent with my diet. I stick to my calories, my macros, my whole foods, and I've got completely no issue with it. And like everybody and their nan, I've also caught the running bug. This year, I ran my first marathon. If you told me last year, at this point in time, that I'd have ran an entire marathon, I would not have believed you, because running was just not on the agenda. I just didn't see it as something I wanted to do because it just seemed way too hard. And the feeling of having accomplished that marathon and enduring that physical hardship was just unparalleled, to be honest. It felt absolutely amazing. But what felt even better in hindsight was the training that I put in for that. I put in that honest, hard, and often invisible work that goes into prepping for a race day, and I even worked my way back through a knee injury, which, you know, I was really touch and go all the way up until marathon day, if I could even race. And yet I put in the work, I got myself there, and I got the marathon done. I can honestly say that the old me would not have done any of that. He wouldn't have committed to the training required, and he would have given up long ago. It's a really, really weird feeling to describe, but honestly, since just consistently pushing myself physically, I've put my mind in a place where I genuinely feel as though anything is possible. I've set those big goals and I've met them. And this mindset change hasn't just impacted how I approach my physical development, but it's proliferated across all areas of my life. You know, say my work, for instance, I feel that I'm more focused, I'm more dialed in, and I get more done because I've got this mindset where I just get on with things and I just stick to it. If I've said I'm going to do something, I will do it, and I'll just push through any discomfort. Through repeated physical challenge, you change your identity and you raise the standards that you hold yourself to. You're raising the bar by pushing through those limitations that you once thought existed. And the beauty of this entire process is that you don't really know what you're capable of until you just push through those limitations. And often, I honestly believe that those limitations that we set for ourselves, once we just push on them a little bit, we find out they're just made of straw. They're nothing. And that if you just push against the resistance a little bit, you'll be able to unlock this new, perspective on what you can achieve and find out that there's so much more possible for you. It's almost like a research project, you know. Naturally, we crave comfort and we don't really want to ask much of ourselves, but if we endure through these physical challenges, we ask bigger questions of ourselves. So expect to find, bigger and more meaningful answers in response. Now, these big symbolic events like an ultramarathon or a triathlon or whatever are obviously really important, but the real strength in pushing the body so your mind will follow you is through doing it consistently. Repetition is the most important thing. And for me, building in uncomfortable habits throughout my life is one way in which I make sure that I don't ever let my standards drop. Now, the quintessential uncomfortable habit for me is a cold shower. Every morning, I will have a cold shower, even if I don't want to. Like, to tell the truth, I don't want to have a cold shower every day. I wake up and there's nothing more that I want than a warm shower because it's nice and comfortable. But I know in my heart of hearts that if I have a cold shower and I just endure that initial resistance, that I'll feel way better for it, because I know the physical benefits of having a cold shower. For me personally, I get a lot out of cold showers. I feel more awake, I feel more mentally active. There's so many reasons as to why I enjoy a cold shower, but the initial resistance that is there is because my body doesn't want to do it, because it knows that it'll be way more comfortable and way less harder on myself to have a warm shower. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-warm shower, but that frequent exposure to physical hardship and letting go of that need for comfort frequently even on such a small scale, like how you have a shower, can be so important for building that discipline. And again, I mean, the gym is something that we should do consistently, right? But reflect on your own gym sessions. What does your last rep actually look like? Are you, just kind of leaving some in the tank, pushing against it half-heartedly, or are you using every fiber in your body to squeeze out that one last rep? So if you push past what you think is physically possible on a daily basis, your mind will change its approach to life. If you demand more, then expect to get more back. I hope this video serves as a call to action, even if it's just for one person. And you don't have to delay in applying this principle to your life. Today, or even tomorrow, depending on what time you're watching this video, choose to do one physically hard thing. One thing which elicits your body's natural response to resist discomfort. Now, hard is relative, so it can be anything. It could be waking up early and going for a walk. It can be having a cold shower when you hate cold showers. It could be going for a 5K run. It can even be running an ultra marathon if you're that way inclined. It can be anything. As long as you feel the satisfaction of letting go of comfort and embracing discomfort, then whatever you choose will be a valuable use of your time. Now, unfortunately, in not allowing your body to call the shots for you, you've got to seek out physical discomfort frequently and consistently. I'd rather see people be consistently good than occasionally great. So make sure that throughout your week, throughout your month, throughout your year, etc., that you're frequently seeking out physical discomfort. Repeated exposure to physical challenge, irrespective of the conditions presented to you, will honestly change your life and your mind, as it has done to me. From changing what you thought was possible to raising the standards that you hold yourself to. If you push your body, in a year's time, you'll look back and think that the impact on your life, not just your physical development, but all aspects of your life, the impact on that will be absolutely immense. My coffee's gone cold, brilliant, but that was the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.